Good afternoon, Belize. It's midday and you're tuned into the news at noon, where we bring you the latest updates from around the country. I'm Isana Cayetano, and here's what's making headlines today. PUC flags Digi as dominant telecom player, seeks public input. SSBI's $35 million hydro deal. Here's what workers need to know. Carbon monoxide deaths spark lawsuit against San Pedro Resort. And a new look for democracy, National Assembly renovations unveiled. These stories are coming up in just 1 minute.
In the face of tragedy, you depend on accurate and timely information. In times of triumph, you seek to be inspired. You demand transparency and accountability. Your desire is to know and to understand, to be heard and seen. I take pride in telling stories that safeguard communities. Your dedication and success live on through these reports. Getting to the truth is my duty. My unwavering commitment is to tell the stories that matter the most to you. I am News 5.
Welcome back. Belize's telecom regulator says Digi appears to dominate most of the country's telecommunications market, and that could be bad news for consumers. In a preliminary ruling released February 2nd, the Public Utilities Commission, PUC, found that Belize Telemedia Limited, operating as Digi, holds significant market power across a wide range of telecom services. The regulator warned that weak competition may expose consumers to higher prices, fewer choices, and lower service quality. The finding is not final. Instead, the PUC has opened a public consultation, inviting feedback from companies and consumers by March 2nd. The Commission says Digi appears dominant in home phone service, mobile voice and data, fixed broadband, toll-free numbers, corporate messaging, and international roaming. Digi controls about 65% of mobile subscribers and a striking 96% of fixed phone users, far outpacing its only nationwide rival, Smart. The PUC also raised red flags over Digi's control of key infrastructure, including Belize's only international submarine cable and a sole undersea link to San Pedro, giving it major leverage in wholesale internet services. If dominance is confirmed, the PUC could consider price controls, infrastructure sharing, and tougher service standards. For now, the regulator says it's listening. Meanwhile, the Social Security Board wants to spend up to $35 million of workers' contributions to buy a 15% stake in Hydro Belize Limited, the company behind the McCall River dams that sells power to BEL under long-term contracts. On paper, it sounds safe: renewable energy, steady cash flow, and a role in national infrastructure. But this is contributors' money, and serious questions remain. What return is SSB expecting, and how solid is it? Hydropower depends on rainfall and costly maintenance. If water levels drop or repairs spike, do dividends drop too? And who carries that risk? Then there's control. With just 15%, how much influence will SSB really have over decisions that affect profits? Who else will own big chunks of the company? And do their priorities line up with protecting pensions? The price also matters. Why $29 per share? What assumptions were used about rainfall, energy demand, costs, and future earnings? BEL's long-term power contracts add stability, but when do they expire? And what happens then? Transparency is key. Has SSB published its financial analysis, stress tests, and downside scenarios so contributors can judge the deal for themselves? Beyond the single investment, the bigger question is risk. How much of the fund is already tied up in Belize's utility and energy sectors? Concentration means one drought, storm, or policy shift could hit savings hard. Finally, the process. Contributors have just 10 days to comment. Is that enough time? And will SSB host public forums, publish clear answers, and commit to regular performance reporting if the deal goes through? Investing in national infrastructure can make sense, but before $35 million move, workers deserve clear numbers, clear risks, and clear accountability. Nearly a year after 3 young women from Massachusetts were found dead at a resort in San Pedro, their families are taking legal action. Relatives of Rafael LRR, Iman Mala, and Kutar Nakad have filed a federal lawsuit against the Royal Cahal Beach Resort, where the women were discovered unresponsive in their suite. Housekeeping reportedly raised the alarm after they were not seen for 2 days. Initial reports cited acute pulmonary edema, but investigators later ruled the cause of death was carbon monoxide poisoning. Now united in their grief, the families say they are demanding answers, transparency, and accountability. They outlined their case during a press briefing held today in Massachusetts. Attorney Tom Scolaro, who represents the families, says the lawsuit aims to uncover what went wrong and why it was allowed to happen.
The resort itself and the authorities hastily suggested that drugs were to blame, a conclusion that wrongly shifted the suspicion onto the victims themselves. That narrative was later conclusively disproven when official findings confirmed that carbon monoxide poisoning was the sole cause of death. While the truth is now clear, the focus today is on what happens next. We fully expect the defendants in this case to argue that this case should be pushed out of a U.S. court and into a forum where accountability is sharply limited. From the family's perspective, that would reflect an effort to escape and severely limit meaningful responsibility for preventable loss of life. In Massachusetts, a jury composed of Massachusetts citizens can fully consider the value of human life and impose punitive damages for reckless conduct. In Belize, where this incident occurred, wrongful death awards are decided by a judge, largely limited only to economic losses, which could, in most situations, be zero. And punitive damages are not available. Meaningful accountability depends on the form in which justice is sought. Let me be clear about what happens next. This case will test whether companies that profit from American consumers can be held to account when preventable tragedies occur, or whether they can avoid all responsibility by hiding behind borders and technicalities.
On Monday, we gave you a sneak peek inside the renovated National Assembly building, and today the doors were officially open to the media. After months of careful restoration, the historic heart of Belize's democracy is getting a modern upgrade, backed by a $1.5 million grant from the government of Taiwan and an additional $4 million from the government of Belize. The project blends new technology with old world significance, with tighter security, upgraded electrical and plumbing systems, and renovations designed to respect the building's civic and historical value. The National Assembly is being prepared for the future without forgetting its past. That's a wrap for the news at noon. But don't worry, there's plenty more coming your way at 6 p.m. We'll dive deeper into these stories and more. In the meantime, visit greaterbelize.com and follow us on Facebook for real-time updates. And don't miss Open Your Eyes tomorrow morning for fresh takes on today's headlines. Thanks for tuning in, Belize. Stay informed, stay inspired, and have a fantastic afternoon.